Good afternoon. Welcome to Entrepreneurial Live Interviews with Connie Fuksa. I started this interview series so I could share with you some pretty amazing people, but they're people just like you who saw a need in our community or in our world and decided to take action. And, sharing an entrepreneurial journey is pitfalls and successes. And I want all of you to understand and see that these people are just like all the rest of us. They're working in a business. They're doing a business inside of a business. They're doing their own thing. They're doing side hustles. They're doing all kinds of things because they're trying to make a difference in our world. And they saw a pain point and they have a movement and are trying to fix it. And some of these people I've known for quite some time. And some of them I've just recently met through other entrepreneurs I've interviewed or other entrepreneurs that wanted to share their circle with us so that I could share it with you guys. And Mark just happens to fit in that category. Mark's somebody I met through one of my very early on interviews, somebody I know. And I got introduced to Mark a couple of weeks ago and just really am so excited to share with you his story. Mark has a lot of different things going on, but it's very interesting. You'll see how things intertwine and how powerful it is to use all of your tools in all of the different areas. So today I want to introduce you to Mark the Blade Brodinsky. Mark, thanks so much for being with me today.
Thank you, Connie. I really appreciate you taking the time and inviting me in. It was Jim Procaccini who connected us, and I thank Jim for that introduction as well. And I'm really excited to be here.
Excellent. Yeah, it was Jim. Jim's a high energy guy and has introduced me to quite a few pretty amazing people, including yourself. So Mark, tell us about you. Tell our audience, who are you? Where'd you come from? What have you been doing? And where are you now? How does all this come together?
So I came from my mother's womb. That's the starting point. I'm now positively impacting the lives of 1 billion people. That's who I am. That's my mission. It's this 1 billion mission that I'm on. And I grew up in Baltimore, went to school there, went to Towson University, and I got an internship at a TV station in school, in college, and that kind of started my career. But I'm the father of 2 daughters, 20 years old and 18 years old, who go to University of Maryland. I'm very proud of them. And, I'm a satellite division sales leader for a insurance company, U.S. Health Advisors. And it's just a tremendous company, and I love what I do for a living. But I really kind of got my start in business, really, I guess, as a career was with the TV station. That's where the Blade came from. That was my nickname. I was a producer and a reporter at WJZ. For a long time, I produced the morning show with Don Scott and Marty Bass. And that was the nickname that I was given. And I put it in the chyron at the title for the producer. And then when I went on air, everybody called me the Blade because that was easier to say than Mark Brodinsky. It's a lot easier and shorter. And my closest friends call me Blade. And they almost never use my real name. So it's cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. It's funny. It's neat how these things evolve in our life, how we get nicknames or relationships or those kinds of conversations. That's really cool. So I did wonder where that came from. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. So TV station producer, then how did you transition into your next life? Why did you leave that? That sounds like such a cool job.
It was a cool job. I did it for 15 years. I won an Emmy as a producer of the news show. And but I left really for reasons of what's important in life, which were my daughters. My oldest was 1 year old at the time. And I saw what was going on in my life and the hours I was working and putting in at the TV station. And I said, you know what? I'm going to miss her growing up, as most people do when they're working for a job that actually, demands long hours and there's little flexibility. And I'm like, I didn't have a daughter for this reason, right? I'm not going to turn around 15 years from now and go, okay, honey, I'm ready now. I have time. Because you can't get that time back.
True.
And that's one of the parts of, the billion mission and You Matter is that you're living in the moment. You don't know how much time you have left. And it sounds cliche, but you really do have to live every second and every moment. And you're here for a reason. And it's really a short period of time. So I left TV and I said, you know what? I want to take control of my destiny, of my life. I never want to be told no again, that I have to work certain hours, that I am going to have someone else decide what I'm worth in terms of how much my income is. And I want to feel valued and appreciated. Even the TV station. TV is a tough business. As a producer, the finger gets pointed at you all the time. I could count on one hand how many perfect broadcasts we had that the public didn't know were perfect, right? You couldn't tell watching it, but every little thing was nitpicked. And I'm like, you know what? I got a lot of I want to do with my life. And once I moved into the world I'm in now with the insurance and helping other people every day, which is our company's mission at US Health Advisors, it's hope. I never look back because now I feel valued and appreciated. I'm part of a team, and it's a really cool culture that we have. I earn whatever it is I'm worth. There's no ceiling on what my limits can be in terms of earnings. And most importantly, I never missed a single thing with my girls. I went to every recital, every softball game, every event they had. I never had to ask permission to take off. So I did it for the right reasons, and my girls are thriving, and that was really important to me. I mean, I got to coach softball. My youngest was a pitcher. My oldest is a singer, and played piano. I never had to miss anything, and that was real important to me.
That is fantastic. You know, a lot of people get to that, you know, oh, they're 15 years old point and say, oh gosh, now what do I do? You know, I can't go back. That's exactly right. And, or sometimes life just throws them a curveball and it seems like a terrible thing at the time, but maybe it's a blessing because it gives you the opportunity to be in those positions, in those spaces in their life. And I think a lot of people are dealing with that right now because they're, you know, the tough side of dealing with all of the things that are going on in our world, but they're spending a lot more time with their children, which they didn't maybe have that opportunity to do before because of work. So share with us. Okay, so now you're an insurance division leader, and obviously that's a very fulfilling position, and you're able to make a nice living at that. But you have something else going on. There's a You Matter movement. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, I mean, You Matter is a part of a bigger, you know, it's part of the 1 billion. I love to write, speak, inspire. That's my side hustle. And inspiration actually ties into what you do as a division leader, because you have to inspire, motivate, care about, and create the perfect environment for your agents to be successful. So it all intertwines. But You Matter, I just heard this story about a year ago. Darren Hardy, who's a great motivation speaker, and he actually created a program I have here that I'm involved in, been involved in for almost a decade. It's called Living Your Best Year Ever. And it's a journal that myself and a couple of other guys keep track of our 3 banner goals for the year. And it's real important, as we'll talk about later. I mean, what's important? What are the tricks or keys to, I think, being able to have a very fulfilling, successful life is having a mastermind group. But Do You Matter? I heard Darren Hardy tell the story about someone who handed someone else a You Matter card. I mean, on the business card, it said You Matter. And I thought to myself, why would I want to do that? Because everybody does. And we forget that. And lots of times we forget about ourselves, that we matter. We walk around in self-doubt, thinking that we can't do great things in the world, or that whatever small things we do are not important. But that's not the truth. You're here for a reason. Your gifts were already inside of you. You were born with everything you need. I heard a line last week that said, your future's not in front of you, it's inside of you. Mm-hmm. But we're afraid to bring it out because we're afraid of what? The most basic human need in life is our desire to feel important, right? To feel valued and appreciated. And we think that if we become ourselves, that other people won't like us, which is the biggest misconception in life. Because if you're being exactly who you were meant to be, the people that need you are going to like you. The people that need you are going to love you. And the people that don't like you, so what? If you're doing great things in the world, I started watching a documentary last night with my daughter about Bill Gates. Not everyone liked Bill Gates. He's doing some really incredible things now. You're going to have haters if you're doing big things in the world. There's just no getting around it. So this You Matter, I hand this card out to everybody that I meet as much as possible. And Connie and I were talking before the interview. I used to put on the back of the card my meetup. It's Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. I have a meetup. I'll talk about that. But people would always flip the card over. I gave them You Matter card. They'd flip it over, and it had my logo for my meetup, had my name and phone number. And I think they thought I was trying to sell them something. All I wanted was if they want to join the meetup, great. But so what I did now is it just has my mission statement on the back, which is I'm now positively impacting the lives of 1 billion people. No phone number, has my name, where it's 2020. You want to know more about me, Google me, right? You can Google anybody and find out information about them. But that's really where it started. Now I got some bigger postcards that I put in thank you notes. And you hand someone a card in the middle of the day, 2:00 in the afternoon, standing behind, as a cashier, waiter, waitress, anyone doing any service, someone you meet in an elevator, you hand them the card, watch them smile, and just for that moment, remember that they matter. It's pretty fulfilling. It really is.
Well, and we talked about this a little bit offline, but you started this quite some time ago, so it really doesn't have anything to do with the world conditions that we're in right now, but exponentially, is working even so much better in the conditions we have now, because it's so much more powerful, because there's so many people that are impacted even stronger right now with all of the negativity that we have going on. So talk to us a little bit about that, because you did talk about that a little bit offline, and I want you to share that.
Yeah, with all the social unrest, I mean, it says you matter. I mean, Black lives matter. Everybody's lives matter. That's why it's you matter, right? Every single person on this planet matters. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care how tall you are, how short you are, what you look like. Everyone has a purpose. You were created for a reason. I mean, I'm not even getting religious, just being spiritual. If you believe that, this body is just housing the spirit that really is infinite, and how did it happen? I don't understand it either, right? But I know that everyone's a miracle, everyone's a masterpiece, and everyone's a hero. And now with what's been happening, when I hand this to certain people too, I think it brightens their day even more, because they want to know that they matter. And it's just an important message. I just, it's so simple to do too. Like, and it was a little uncomfortable at first. Like, I hand it to someone before I walk away from the transaction, and I say, here you go, everybody matters. And they go, oh yeah. I've had people start to cry. I've had people cheer. I've heard people just look at it and flip it over. And as I'm walking away, I know they're reading my message and going, hey, I just hope I brightened their day and made them realize again that we are all important. We're all important. There's not a single person that is unimportant. And so we all struggle with that. We have self-doubt. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't love ourselves. And that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you don't love yourself, no one else is going to love you either. So it starts with you. And if you know you matter, and you can make a difference, even however small, whatever it is you want to do, people are going to love you for it, because it's important.
Nice, nice. So this is really strong, and you've taken this to putting these pieces together. If I remember correctly, we talked a little bit offline before today, talk a little bit about your storytelling side. And, I think that sort of definitely intertwines a lot of these things, but talk a little bit about telling other people's stories and how that evolved and what that's all about as well.
Sure. I got another message here. I mean, this is kind of what the stories are about. Your struggle will be your gift that the world will fall in love with.
Nice. I like it.
Everybody struggles. Everyone has a journey. And so about when the mother of my children got breast cancer, and I actually wrote a book about it called It Takes Two, Surviving Breast Cancer, a Spouse's Story. At that time, I was writing about the journey going through together during this cancer scare. And I also then started a blog. I wanted to keep writing, and I was told that writing is my gift. So why not take your gift and expand on it? So I started a blog, and that blog developed. It was called It's Just About Life in the Sunday series, and it blossomed into what's called the Sunday series. And for about 5 years, I would just find people, meet people, be turned on to people that said, you know what, I'm going to tell their story. I'd interview them for about an hour, take notes, and every Sunday I'd write their story and publish it all across social media on my blog. And that became something that, everyone has a story. That's the other thing about storytelling, is that it opens up perceptions for you on other people, right? For other people that you might not have had before, perspectives, right? Maybe you thought somebody was someone that they're not. Then you find out their story, and you find out, you know what? Everybody struggles. Everyone has things they go through. And if we all just shared our stories, the world would be a better place. So I started that Sunday series. It did about 150 over like a 4-year period. I published a volume 1. I took the stories and put them into a book form. I'm going to do other volumes too. I think the next volume this fall. And then the insurance company I work with, US Health Advisors, I came to them with an idea. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll tell 2 stories a month of agents, leaders, and home office people in the company. And they use that as a recruiting tool and as a culture tool. Because again, once you read people's stories, you get to know what they're all about. It's a very powerful tool to not only engage everybody and create a great culture, but also as a recruiting tool. Because if I, like Connie, let's say you're looking at my company and you say, you know what, I don't really know what US Health Advisors is about, but you read one of 102 stories that are now on our website, and one of them resonated with you, and they said, you say, if that person can do it, so can I. Look what they went through. Look what their story is. I have a story too, but look how successful they are in this company. And yet they came from a place that maybe wasn't where they wanted to be, but now they're getting there. And everyone comes from different backgrounds. It's really an amazing company. But the experience of the storytelling also, if we all have a gift, we should be able to separate ourselves from the herd with that gift. I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care. And as long as I'm doing positive things, I don't care what you think. And if you think it's goofy and it's crazy and it's weird, it's the crazy people that change the world. So I want to separate myself from the herd. I'm the only person in the company that tells these stories on a bi-weekly basis. And I do it because I love it. I make the time to do it. So the number one question I get asked is, how do you have time to do all this? I run a very robust satellite division in this company. I'm a big writer, always have been, in terms of personal policies. I have my children. I have, other people in my lives that are important. And then I have the storytelling. I have a meetup called Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. I have my You Matter movement. And you think, how do you find the time? But there's 168 hours in the week and everyone has the same amount of time. It's all how you manage that time and do things that make you feel fulfilled. And when you do something you love, you don't even notice the time.
So a couple of things I just gravitated on when you were talking. I mean, so much good stuff here. So thank you so much for sharing all of that. And a lot of it's so personal. But one of the things I first wanted to bring up is when you talked about telling people stories, one thing that I always go back to, and I share with a lot of people that I work with and people that we're doing interviews together and people that I come in contact with, is people who meet you don't care what you do for a living. They want to know what you know and who you are. And so telling these stories, what it does is put a human being side, a real side to a business that can sometimes maybe be not so personal. And so people gravitate to the fact that this business cares enough about the people that are inside that business that they want to share the beautiful talents and the pieces of each of those people individually. So gosh, I give you so much credit for coming to the company and saying, hey, I want to do this, because the company is no more than the people that work there. I mean, without those people, they can have all the best services in the world, but if they don't have the right people in place, they're not going to be successful. So I give you a lot of credit for that, because I think that's so important. Both of those pieces, you're telling not only somebody's story, but you're also making a very human side to a business, which is very important, because it's not about that business. It's about the people that work there and what they know and what they care about. So that is amazing. So tell us, you obviously have so many things you like to be involved in, but tell us a little bit about your meetup and what even a meetup is and what that's all about, because obviously that's part of this web as well, this wonderful web of information that you like to share. So give us a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, so I started immersing myself in personal growth and self-improvement about 8 years ago when I actually joined this mastermind group. I found Darren Hardy, started listening to some stuff from him, and then Jim Rohn, who was a business philosopher, and he was kind of Hardy's mentor, but he had 3 lines that changed everything for me. And the lines were, if you want things to change, you have to change. If you want things to get better, you have to get better. If you want to have more, you must become more. And when I heard that, I stopped in my tracks and I thought, wow, this is something that I hadn't really thought about before, because we all expect change to come from out here instead of it all resonates inside. Like I said before, it's all inside you, everything you need. Until you change yourself, you can't expect any circumstance to change, because you're relying on luck. You're relying on circumstances to happen. And unfortunately, if you don't make change, change happens to you, and it's not always a good thing. But if you manifest the change, you're going to do the change because you know that it's something that's going to benefit you. And it might be scary, but it's all about overcoming the fear. So about 3 years ago, I just thought, what, I'm studying this, I'm reading it, I'm kind of talking about it, I'm writing, stories. And what if I just started a meetup? And a meetup is simply, it's meetup.com. You go on there, you put in a hobby. Let's say it was hiking or wine or, personal development. And you find groups in your area that meet to talk about these things in different formats. So I thought, you know what? I know how powerful mindset is. It drives everything. Like when I hire people here, I hire for attitude, train for skill. It all starts here. I don't care where you came from. I don't care. All I care is about where you are now and what your dreams are. You have that motivation and energy. So I thought mindset's so powerful. Why don't I start a meetup called Change Your Mind, Change Your Life? And I'll just share things that I've learned over time by listening and reading. I read a lot, and I listen to a lot of YouTube and podcasts, and I'll just put it in a format that hopefully it'll resonate with people. And I started with 0, and now I have over 530 members. And what I love in life, Connie, is that turning nothing into something.
Yeah.
Just have an idea in your head, you manifest that idea. You have to take action. Action's the magic factor between what you're thinking and what the actual results are going to be. But if you actually take the action with an idea you have and go against the fear, it's gonna happen. And I love the meetup, and I've been able to hire people through the meetup. I've made friends through the meetups, and lives have been changed. I'm trying to teach people habits and disciplines of change. That's what we talk about.
So that's really cool. And it again inspires the fact that you can do anything you want to do. You just have to try. You have to get out there and try. I mean, you decided that you wanted to be able to share all of the mindset pieces that you have and that you read about and that you've learned and changed your life with. And now you wanted to share it. So you figured out a platform to be able to do that. And now you're engaging more than 500 people, which is phenomenal. So what I wanted to ask you now is, you work inside of an insurance agency. You love what you're doing. You actually develop people that come, bring in new people and develop them into insurance agents. And on the side, or in addition to that part of your life, you do all of these other pieces, which are obviously very intermingled. And so personal goals, personal struggles, personal things that you have, challenges that you've seen as you're trying to develop this other piece of you. How do you, when we talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, we learn about, battles that they've gone through to get to the next level, to start seeing some success turn around, those kinds of things. Tell us some of the challenges because a lot of people do this. A lot of people are working in the paying the bill job, and they look at the side hustle, if you will, or the add-on as the thing they want to be doing, but they're trying to figure out how to make money at it. And I see you running both of these at the same time successfully. So talk to us a little bit about that mindset and how some of those dynamics work, because that's a lot. That's a challenge. That's a lot of stuff.
Simple. Come join my company and we'll make it happen.
Perfect.
The reality, I'm telling you, this is a great opportunity. But yeah, I mean, what I've learned is that you can do both. And in the beginning, it wasn't easy, but you can do both and I gave it away for free too. Don't forget, I did that Sunday series for no money, nothing, no compensation. I just did it because I loved it. You got to give it away for free for a while and kind of build up a brand, get people to know you. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I've always done it on my time. I made extra time. You're going to have to work a little extra, right? I got up 5 o'clock in the morning, start writing those Sunday series on a Sunday. So the first 3 hours of my day was spent doing that, and it didn't take away time from my family, rather than trying to do it at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. So if you're going to try to do more than one thing, you're going to have to make time available and use time management to do those things. But it's not easy to give up your day job and just go chase your passion, right, or whatever you think your gift is. But you don't have to. Les Brown talks all the time about doing that side hustle, doing it part-time. Gary Vee talks about the same thing. You got to read and listen to the people that have already done it, because success leaves clues. So I read and listen to them and go, wow, they do it this way. You know what? They're successful doing it. So why should I try to reinvent the wheel? And the fact that they can intertwine so wonderfully, especially the storytelling with the insurance, my motivation, I do something called Mindset Friday with my team. The fact you can intertwine these things, they're all life principles, right? A business is a business, but a business, like you talked about, Connie, it's not the business, it's the people, right? Yep. We're all human beings. We all need each other. And a person who's buying from you is not buying the product, they're buying you. Yeah. And then it's up to you to live up to that expectation by doing great customer service and being the best version of yourself and really caring about people. And it goes back to that. I got this book here, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? The most basic human desire in life is to feel important, valued, and appreciated. If you can fulfill that need in another human being, you got a friend, right? You got someone you're going to connect with, and then everything else is just icing on the cake.
So one of the things you talk about, and I love touching on this because I think people starting in a business, whether it's a business, running a business inside of a business or starting their own hustle, whatever it is, side hustle, a full-time thing, whatever that is a lot of times people have a tendency to feel like they're on an island when they run into a roadblock. And you talk about one of the most powerful things out there is having mentors and reaching out and and studying people who've done it before, who've done it successfully. So how did you get to the point that you knew that was a good thing to do? And talk about some mentors that you have in your life and how some of those things have worked.
I mean, Darren Hardy's been a huge mentor, and I never met the guy, never been to one of his conferences. Just when I got this book, Living Your Best Year Ever, it came with 4 CDs, and he told some stories on there, and he talked about how you go through the journal, and then, you know, just listen to that. When the first time I put that CD in my car, we're talking about CDs now, so it was like 8 years ago. And when I said to myself, I've been looking for this my whole life. It just spoke to me that I can be more than I ever thought possible. I get choked up when I talk about it. It's life changing. The fact that to think that there's more to you than meets the eye, than you've already given up in your life, that you've already presented to the world, that there's more inside of you. Of course there is. And the biggest thing is to figure out how you can start to peel back the layers to bring about the person that you were meant to be. And it's not easy. You got to keep shedding layer after layer after layer. And it's a hard thing to do. But if you start to develop habits and disciplines and believe in yourself and believe in a higher power and know that, you know, like I said, miracle, masterpiece, hero, affirmations are important. Meditating is important. Reading is important. Listening is important. I don't watch the news. I don't binge watch TV shows. I mean, it's not a good use of I want to be entertained. I love sports. I love the Orioles, I love the Ravens, but if they lose or they win, my week does not change.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put my entire persona on the contributions or actions of someone else when we all are responsible for ourselves. You know,
right.
That's the truth. You're 100% responsible for the quality of your life, good or bad. It's all on you. No one's coming to save you. You can get help though. So in terms of help, my mastermind group is key in my existence. And a long answer to your question would be, you're the product of the 4 or 5 people you spend the most time with.
So you've talked about mastermind a couple of times. Talk to us for just a minute as we get close to needing to wrap up. But talk to us just a minute about mastermind, like how, you know, several people I've interviewed recently have talked a little bit about this, but you've talked about it several times. So tell somebody, what is a mastermind and how did you find where to join a mastermind?
So for a couple of years, I was with New York Life, and I met this guy, Mark Brodinsky, and he had just started being in a mastermind group. It's just a group of people that decide they're going to focus on doing some great things. Usually it's not a lot about business. If you read Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, he talks about mastermind in there. That's how long this thing's been going on, and principles never change, right? I don't care how long ago they were created. But you find a couple people that want to do certain things with their life, and you track and manage it. I mean, this journal is all about the 3 banner goals, but then we track our progress toward those goals. So we have to, you know, write down what's going on in our lives. We have to keep track of those banner goals and our activities toward them. And we meet every other Friday for almost 2 hours, and we have a call every Monday for 30 minutes to talk about our progress. But the cool thing is they become my brothers. I didn't know them 8 years ago, and now they're some of the most important people in my entire life. So just find a couple of people that are like that. Don't hang around with people that complain and are miserable.
Right.
You know, it's not going to be an effective use of your time. You're not going to go anywhere because you're going to go where they go.
Right, absolutely. You know, we hear that concept a lot in personal and business. You know, you are definitely a product of the people that you surround yourself with, but you're absolutely right. I mean, if you think about, if you're having a struggle, think about the people in your circle. Are they setting your hair on fire, or are they putting your fire out? And, you know, I talk about that a lot in a lot of my presentations, because people have a tendency to say, well, you know, this is my sister, or this is my best friend. She's been my best friend for 20 years, or this is my buddy who, you know, stood by me in my wedding. But if they're putting your fire out, then they're not the people that need to be in your immediate circle and giving you thoughts and advice and good energy so you can work through what those struggle pieces are. So, Mark, as we wind up, a couple of things. Tell me how people can find you after today. What's a way somebody really wants to understand about your meetup or your mastermind, or just wants to get some good jujus from you, or, you know, wants to bounce some thoughts off of you? How do they get in touch with you after today? Or maybe they want to talk to you about becoming an insurance agent.
So 2 things, right? So I have a website. It's markbrodinsky.life. That's my website. You go on there. It'll talk about my storytelling, about my TV world, about my meetup. There's a link for the meetup too. So you can learn all about me. There's a contact page at the bottom. Fill that information out and get an email. I'm happy to talk to anyone who has questions. As far as the U.S. Health Advisors, I have a Facebook page. It's at Inspirational Health Guy. That's my handle I came up with because the people that designed the page said, "What do you love to do?" I'm like, "Inspiration." I said, "Okay, you're the Inspirational Health Guy." So it's facebook.com/Inspirational Health Guy. You can also go to ushacareers.com. If you want to see my stories, click on the culture button on that website, ushacareers.com. Click on culture, and all the stories I've written will be there. And I mean, my blog is markbrodinsky.com /storytelling, but all those links are on my markbrodinsky.life website. I've tried to put everything in one place so people can contact me. And if you want to, if you want to know more about the opportunity that is my main vocation, fill out any of that information. I'll get in touch with you about it, because it is the ability to have a culture and an opportunity to stop working for someone else and really take control of your life, which is so important if you want to do big things in the world.
Nice, nice. And the You Matter movement is just absolutely incredible. I think it really speaks so much volume to our community as a whole and individuals, like you said. I mean, part of the problem is people just have a tendency. A lady I was interviewing yesterday, one of her pieces of advice was, be kind to yourself. And a lady I talked to on Tuesday, self-talk is so important. Think about the language you're saying to yourself. So the You Matter is so important, particularly this week as we're talking about all these other things, because it really ties a lot of this together, just reminding you that you are the most important thing. All your value is inside of you. I love that quote, and some of the others that you have are so powerful. Mark, is there, give us one piece of go-to Mark's information, advice, something that came to you, or something that is always your go-to when you hit a struggle that you found somewhere in your career?
Know that the compound effect is the most important thing you can do in your life, that progress matters, no matter how small it is. If you just keep at it in small increments. People think that things are easy to do, they're easy to do, they're easy not to do. Do the easy things, do them consistently, and build a foundation so strong that no matter what happens, you can't fall back. I mean, during this pandemic, I can tell you myself, my mastermind guys, we're having our best years ever. How's that possible? Because of the foundation we built, knowing that no matter what the challenge or adversity, we're going to get past it. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt, but go through the pain and don't be afraid to be you. Fear is false evidence appearing real. You gotta be yourself. And, stand away from the herd. Don't worry about other people. Don't follow what everyone else is doing, especially if it's just minutia. Yeah. Read, listen, and create habits and disciplines, and just do little things. And don't be afraid don't think that what you have inside you is not important. It is. And then find a way to fight through all the gook that everyone told you that it doesn't work, it's not going to work, it doesn't matter. You do matter. So shine your light. We're all looking for that light.
Fight through all the gook. That was a good, valuable nugget right there. Absolutely perfect. Well, the compound effect is so real. That's a Darren Hardy book that really is, little steps build on top of those little steps you just did. The next step builds on top of that, and compounding, just as in the financial world, also in the action, motivation, business, personal world. So, Mark.
Patience.
Yeah, absolutely. Very truthful there. Mark, this has been absolutely phenomenal. All of the things that you've done and all the things that you contribute to our world, both helping motivationally, the You Matter movement, the stories, obviously helping people with their healthcare, helping people realize their potential through the healthcare business. I mean, you just bring so much to our world, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time today to be with us and sharing everything that is Mark the Blade Brodinsky.
Thank you so much. I mean, our company has an acronym too. It's HOPE, helping other people every day. And it ties perfectly into, what I do and what they do. And so that's what it's about. If we all just loved each other a little bit more, the world would be a better place. You don't have to be angry, and you don't have to run around, frustrated and be revengeful, and, forgive, love, serve. If you do more of that, the world's just a better place, just because, gratitude's the attitude that changes everything. Be grateful, and don't, focus on fear and misery. Just love yourself and be grateful for what you have and who you are.
That's a fact. Mark, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on my show today. I really appreciate you. Guys, thanks so much for tuning into Entrepreneurial Live Interviews. We have several more interviews coming up, so stay tuned. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel because that way you won't miss any of this valuable information, and you can easily go back and listen to anything that you might have missed with Mark or any of the other speakers that we've had on. I really appreciate your time. And if you want some more information from me about how to get on our series or how to develop the expert information that you already have inside of your head, that's what I do, and I can help you do it too. So reach out to me either through this or through ConnieFuksa.com, and Mark, all of his contact information we put in the comments. If you just go back through the comments and make sure I got all of your information there, and if not, add those so anybody can find you that wants to. And thanks again for being with us today.
Connie, thank you. You're doing great things in the world. I really, I admire what you're doing with this program, and it's important to get people's stories out there, right? Everyone's got that story. So the more stories we tell, the more advice we give, the more people can inspire and help each other, the better we're all going to be for it. So thank you.
Absolutely true. And I appreciate your kind words. Thank you so much. All right, guys, until next time, I appreciate you tuning in to Entrepreneurial Live Interviews. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
See ya.